How often should you use an imaginal act, and how often should you affirm? And how long do you have to imagine something, or how long do you have to affirm something before you can just let it go and know that it's coming to you? So you can just let go and allow it to come to you. But how long is it? Is it a couple weeks? Is it a couple days? Is it a couple hours? Is it a couple months? And what is the feeling that you're going to have when you know that you can just let it go and know that it's coming to you? That's what I'm going to cover in this video. Neville Goddard was actually asked this exact question at one of his lectures by one of his students. And I'm going to cover that in detail, and I'm going to expound on that. How often should you imagine something? How often should you affirm something? And when can you just let it go and know what feeling state you have and when it's coming to you? So this question that was asked to Neville Goddard was actually documented and printed in Manifesting Miracles. And the question was this: how often should I perform the imaginal act? A few days or several weeks? Neville Goddard responded by saying, in the book of Genesis, the story is told of Jacob wrestling with an angel. This story gives us the clue we are looking for, that when satisfaction is reached, impotence follows. When the feeling of reality is yours, for the moment at least, you are mentally impotent. The desire to repeat the act of prayer is lost, having been replaced by the feeling of accomplishment. You cannot persist in wanting what you already have. If you assume you are what you desire to be, to the point of ecstasy, you no longer want it. Your imaginal act is as much a creative act as a physical one, wherein man halts, shrinks, and is blessed. For as man creates his own likeness, so does your imaginal act transform itself into the likeness of your assumptions. If, however, you do not reach the point of satisfaction, repeat the action over and over again until you feel as though you touched it and virtue went out of you. So what Neville Goddard is referring to here is reaching a state of climax, so to speak, and satisfaction so deeply in your imaginal act, whether you're visualizing, you're affirming, or whether you're scripting, you're creating such a powerful feeling state of satisfaction that it's already done, that you become powerless. He uses the word impotent, but really that's powerless. You are powerless once you reach the state of reality of your desire. Once that state of your desire is already felt, as if it's already done, you become powerless to it, meaning that you no longer have a desire to repeat your imaginal acts or your affirmations. You no longer have that desire to repeat them over and over like you did previously, because you've already felt it to be real and it's already done at that point. But I have something that I would like to add to this from my own experiences, using my imagination, mentally rehearsing, visualizing, affirming, and scripting. And it's a really, really sure way to know whether your manifestations are going to materialize. They are materializing, and they have changed your world, or you've shifted in the multiverse, or you're headed that way. And the way that I do this is if I'm affirming something and I feel a state of satisfaction, like what Neville Goddard talks about, and I feel like, oh, I don't really feel like I want to imagine this anymore, or I want to affirm this anymore. And so I've already felt that state of climax, or that state of satisfaction if it's already done. I'll go into a brief meditation, even for just a couple minutes or even 5 minutes, and just allow my mind and observe my thoughts while I'm doing this in meditation. And I won't try to change anything. I'll just allow my mind to do what it wants to do, wherever it wants to go. So that's my inner talking, my inner dialogue. And as we know, your thoughts create images in your mind, and that's your imagination at work. And then that's what's creating the feeling states that are impressing the subconscious mind or the universe and shifting you in the multiverse. So in order to know whether your manifestations are coming, whether you're shifting in the multiverse, is to go back to the original creator, which is your inner talking. That's where it starts. Your thinking, your thoughts, or your inner dialogue, your habitual inner dialogue, and has it changed? Okay, so you go into this meditation and you just observe your inner talking, your inner dialogue. Where is it going? Is your inner dialogue or your inner talking and communicating and leading you in that direction? Is it leading you towards your goal? Is it coming up with different ideas and thinking and contemplating different things that are going to reach that goal? Or is it thinking about things after the fact? A lot of times when I'll use this technique or I'm visualizing something and I'll go into this meditation, my mind will be thinking about, it would already think that I have this. Like it would already think I have this amount of money, or I already have this material possession, or I already have this physique. And it'll be planning things ahead of it. And a good example of this from my own experience would be when I was manifesting one of my supercars, my Shelby GT500. When I was visualizing this car and the scene that I created and everything I used, I went into a meditation to see whether my inner talking, my inner dialogue was leading him in that direction, or it was already after the fact. It was planning things afterwards. And what I found was my mind, my inner dialogue was based on me already in possession of this vehicle. So I no longer had the desire for it, and I detached myself from that. So it was leading me ahead. It was thinking about things that I was already doing. You know, it was already in my garage, and what am I going to do with it after the fact? Like, am I going to change the suspension system, or I'm going to add the upgrades to the engine, change the pulleys or the brake system? You know, it was leading me ahead of the event as if I already had it. What kind of upgrades was I going to do with the car as if I already had it? So it was already planning. What decals do I want to put on it? Different things I wanted to upgrade on the car as if I already had it. So my inner dialogue was no longer thinking about how am I going to get the car. It was thinking about things I'm going to do after I own the car, or I am already in possession of it. So what am I going to do now? So it's after the fact. It pushed me ahead of it. And once you get ahead of the fact, the subconscious mind is now tricked, so everything is going to have to conform to that. Your world now is going to shift, and everyone's going to play their part in order for you to get that objective material or the object of your manifestation, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a supercar, whether that's a new house, or whether that's a boatload of money. Whatever it is, you will know by going into this meditation whether you have impressed the subconscious mind, or you don't have to visualize anymore. You don't have to affirm anymore. And during this time, when I did do this meditation in this specific time, I did get that feeling where I didn't want to affirm anymore. I didn't want to I was visualizing. I was mentally rehearsing with this specific one and asking myself questions before I went to sleep at night. But when I felt it, that satisfaction of it as I'm falling asleep for a certain amount of nights, I really, really felt that climax and that satisfaction of it. So I just wanted to know, because I didn't feel like I needed to affirm or visualize anymore. So I just went into the meditation, and I quickly found that my mind was going ahead of the facts. So I just stopped visualizing at that point. I stopped affirming, I stopped asking questions, I stopped working on it, and just allowed it to happen. And this car that I got, it's a very rare car. There's only a few hundred of them made in the entire world in this specific color and this specific model. So it just came to me out of the blue. It was actually at a dealership that was local to me all of a sudden. And everything just manifested. My world shifted to the point where that car had to come to me. And then I had someone where I met at a gas station that told me about it, that just all of a sudden just came up to me and started a conversation and told me about the car and how it was over here at this dealership. But I was never shocked during this whole thing. I was just allowing it to unfold and allowing my multiverse to shift me and just bring the car to me at this point. So I just allowed everything to happen. And it's just so amazing how everything just falls into place once you have impressed the subconscious mind with already having something. Like your inner dialogue is already after the fact, and it already believes that you already have it. So you're falling asleep, sealing your instructions with the universe, with God, the subconscious mind, and it believes that you already have this thing. So everything in your world has to conform to that and has to shift you to that world where something happens, where someone is selling the car. They don't want to sell it, but all of a sudden they feel like they should sell it. Then they sold it to this dealership, and then the dealership did this, talk to this other guy. This other guy sees me. All of a sudden he wants to talk to me and tell me where it is. All these things. I didn't even search for the car. The car came to me literally, and it was just amazing the way that it all unfolded. But you can determine this just by going into this quick meditation. So that's what I want to give you out of this video and show you when you have impressed the subconscious mind and you no longer have to visualize, you no longer have to affirm, is when you felt the excitement or the climax of your visualization, your mental rehearsal, your affirmations, or your scripting. When you really feel it deep down in your core, and you just want to know, and you no longer have the desire to visualize anymore or affirm. You no longer have that desire anymore. Then you can just go into a brief meditation and see where your inner talking is going and where your inner dialogue is going. Is it after the fact? Is it coming up with ideas that are, it's thinking about things you're going to do after you already have this thing? That's when you know it's already, there's nothing else that you have to do. All you have to do is just allow it to come to you. Just allow the subconscious mind to shift you, or the universe to shift you to that multiverse where you own, or you now possess that, or you now have the thing that you're trying to manifest, or the thing that you have manifested into your world. And just allow it and just go about your business. Like Neville Goddard said, go about your business. Feel it, feel the excitement, feel the satisfaction and the climax of it, and then go into a brief meditation, and then just see where your inner dialogue is going. And then if it's lining up after the fact, then you can just let it go and go about your business and just let it come to you. Let go of it at that point. All right, that is the end of this video, but I wanted to announce that the Neville Goddard community is absolutely free, and you'll find the link in the description below. It's titled The Law of Assumption Community, and you will find that in the description. It's absolutely free to join. And if you have any other questions about these topics or any other topics, you can go in there. You can instant message me at any time. There's also other moderators and over 1,000 other members that you can discuss, create groups, get together and come up with solutions to any manifestation problems, or even help other people out if you want to go in there, and it's absolutely free. All right, guys, that's the end of this video. I love you, and I will see you in the next one.
Is not daring. I go into these states